Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving value's contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
Okay, we are back, episode 502 today. We didn't do one. We're not doing one tomorrow morning because we're doing election night tomorrow night. By the way, I don't know if you know or not, the fighter jets that are going to be on our headquarters are flying in. Rob, if you got the highlight of them flying in, literally, they're
literally flying in right now.
No, this is no joke. They're flying in, and they send me a video. Go ahead, Rob, play the clip. They're flying in.
Oh, my God.
This is right now
He almost
happening.
hit the guy.
Okay.
They have missiles on there?
They will be there tomorrow. We got to make sure we're safe. They will be there tomorrow. 7 p.m. we start, but people start showing up much earlier.
Can we show this video?
Watch this one here. Look what this is looking like. Look what this is looking like.
This is the new.
That's where we'll be. That's from the VIP room at the top.
Okay, we're almost there.
Look at this. That's the 40 by 100 foot tents.
The 40
That's Natalia.
by 100 tents. Okay, that you'll see out here. The jets will be over there. And then if you come out, the super VIPs,
this is where
a lot of you will be having cigars out here, hanging out.
Vinny's probably going to have 4 or 5 cigars.
5 or 6,
in
maybe.
Miami. Bunch of people here right now.
Wow, we are less than 24 hours away.
2,000 people are going to be there in that whole campus.
That's why that pilot was texting and flying. That has to be illegal.
Someone tried to pull him over, but it's tough to pull over people up. It's a very challenging thing to do. Anyways, gang, we got a lot of stuff we'll cover today, but obviously a lot of it will be left for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of unique guests there with us tomorrow. Cannot wait for it. I know everybody watching this has a lot of options of where to tune in while they're watching it. Here's what I will tell you. We're going to make an argument to you tomorrow why there's only one place to tune into. And it's called the PBD Podcast. You'll see when you watch it how different it's going to be. And moving forward, it'll be one of those things where you are going to decide to be with us every 4 years. If we do this for the next 40 years together, I'm 46. We're going to do this 10 more times, 9 more times we got left of doing this. And each time it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But we hope to see all of you guys there with us tomorrow night. At this point, every ticket here is sold out. Rob, we can't even sell tickets anymore. I think I just got a message right now saying they got to shut down the general side because people are still buying, even though it's been sold out for the last hour or so, but people are still buying tickets. And so I'm texting the guys to make sure they get that part knocked out of the way. But those of you guys that bought tickets, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Let me give you some stories we're going to go through today. Here's some stories. Number one, Trump hit CBS with a $10 billion lawsuit over the deceptive Harris interview. And on top of that, yesterday, NBC had the audacity to have a surprise visit of SNL, of Kamala Harris on SNL, and then they did not give the equal time on the presidential election to Trump, and it was so embarrassing that they have to come back later on and give 90 seconds to Trump because FCC commissioner rips NBC over Harris's last-minute SNL. Can you imagine? FCC commissioner. These are not Republican folks. FCC commissioner comes out and says, hey, what are you guys doing? You cannot be doing this. And they have to go out there and say, hey, Mr. President, you got 90 seconds to also give your argument to the world. We thought we had a monopoly at NBC, but apparently there's a certain thing called law and order. We try to not follow it, but I guess we have to because we also don't want a $10 billion lawsuit that CBS got. So go ahead and say 90 seconds, whatever you'd like to say, sir. We love you for the next 90 seconds. CNN climate reporter warns, folks, brace for impact. If you're driving, please, I'm going to say it slowly. I don't want you to get nervous or concerned because this is NBC, CNN reporter. CNN climate reporter warns if Trump wins, it could affect life on Earth. But don't worry, Elon Musk is building something that's not on Earth. And some of you guys will have the ability to go buy something there. Can you imagine? Life on Earth will be threatened by Trump getting elected. Oh, my God. There's got to be better ways of trying to scare the crap out of people. Trump open to the idea of RFK Jr.'s anti-water fluoride proposal, doesn't rule out banning some vaccines. And when it comes down to vaccines, check this out. There's a state out there. This state, they carry the most, I think it's number one in license to carry. This state called Idaho You know what Idaho just did? Idaho just made it illegal to take the vaccines. Health department in Idaho reportedly becomes first state in nation to ban vaccines.
Weird.
Idaho. So Idaho may have who knows, a couple million people may be moving to Idaho. By the way, LeBron James just made a statement with Jennifer Lopez crying. Cardi B, because the teleprompter wasn't working. She needed somebody to run up with an iPhone because she didn't know what to say. Tim Walz is on stage giving a motivational speech, and he refers to Elon Musk. This is not a joke. You're going to see this video. He calls Elon Musk that gay guy. Half a second after he said that gay guy, his campaign claims he misspoke. He called him that gay guy. I didn't misspeak last week when I made it clear here. I would never judge Adam, but he was judging that gay guy. See the difference?
See that?
There's this concept of they claim they're for the LGBTQ people, and then they use it as a slur like it's a joke.
Hypocrites.
We say it's open. Do your thing.
We nobody love judges. Whatever.
How long have you known me? It's not one of those things.
Spanish guy's hand.
All right,
unless you judge them.
Yeah, but not up in here, Tom. not up in here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Rogan, Stumps, Senator Fetterman. Folks, you have to watch this video. Someone is moving illegal immigrants to swing states, and Democrats want them to vote to the point where a Chinese student who is not a U.S. citizen in Michigan, apparently, Rob, if you can verify this, goes out there and votes. After she votes, she was not a U.S. citizen. People are like, wait a minute, how the hell were you able to do it? Well, there's nothing we can do to remove her vote now. Tom's going to give us an update on what's going on in different states, the swing states. Elon Musk, by the way, swing states. Like, were they swingers when they said it was called swing states?
1,000%.
Yeah, Elon Musk spending zillions. Why Bernie Sanders wants to overturn Citizens United. He's not happy about that. Bill Maher warns that Biden's garbage comments is a bigger gaffe than people think. Deplorables times 10. And that's him saying it. Mark Cuban, folks, was asked by the Kamala Harris campaign to sit this one out, bro. It's a little too much. You getting up there saying what you're saying about women. You crossed the line. It was so bad that Danica Patrick had to come out and say a few words. And then he had to himself come out and apologize. And then Donald Trump tees off on Mark Cuban with an epic golf insult. We'll show that to you. 15 attorney generals call for a national ban on price gouging. Here we go. They want to control the market. By the way, Peanut, the squirrel. This is not just any squirrel, guys. He's got a ton of followers. Beloved pet and internet sensation euthanized after being seized by New York State. If you know the story, you know the story. Marc Benioff has ideas of selling Time Magazine to Greek media giant Antenna Group, Time Magazine, and wait till you see how much subscribership they lost. When he bought it, that 4 million, you have to see this number. There's an insane debate that took place, and you got to see this one, by this U.S. NSA's wealthy wife roasted by Republican candidate in broken English. Vinny showed this to us. We had to share with you. For some of you guys, I want you to think about how much cash you have in your bank. I want to kind of excite you a little bit. Say you got $50,000 in the bank. You're like, I'm doing pretty good. Maybe you got $500,000. Maybe you got $1 million in the bank. There's this guy named Warren Buffett who runs this company called Berkshire Hathaway. You know how much he has in the bank? Not $1 billion, not $10 billion, not $100 billion. They got $325 billion of cash.
Just sitting around.
Just sitting there. They can buy probably Guatemala if they wanted to. But imagine like a small little country they can buy it and call it Buffett County. They call
I love it.
What do you call it? Buffetala. Instead of Guatemala, it's Buffetala or something like that. And nothing against Guatemala. Mario's from Guatemala. I've been to Tikal. I've been to Puerto Barrios. But this guy apparently wants to buy Guatemala. Who knows? Amazon employees send angry letters on return to office policy. Management stance firm. Young doctors. Everybody that's listening to the young Doogie Housers. Young doctors want work-life balance. Older doctors say, that's not the job. Go home. MSNBC wants to sell MSNBC. Their parent company, Comcast, is thinking about selling them off. Yankees got some problems they're dealing with. We don't want to talk about that. Record number of wealthy Americans are seeking to flee the country. We'll talk about that. And there's bunch of things going on where the Fed is sitting there saying, how come all these lowering the rates, is doing nothing. The rate cuts is doing nothing to mortgage rates. We'll talk about that as well. Now, before we get started, Veterans Day is around the corner next week. Folks, one thing I do want to tell you about what we're doing next week. Obviously, on this podcast here, I was in the 101st Airborne Division. Vinny was in the Air Force. He was the Airman of the Year out of all their Air Force soldiers. He was the Airman of the Year. We have a limited edition armed forces shirt, gear for you that says, different kinds. One says, we support the armed forces with dog tags on the bottom. We have different colors, jackets, shirts. We have the new violating dog tag. We even have Angry Patriot dog tag. Rob, if you can show the Angry Patriot dog tags. Incredible quality of this United States veteran, proud to have served. If you served, this is the shirt to wear on the back of it. It's got the Violating logo with Future Looks Bright. We also got sweaters there. This is limited. We didn't order a lot because of vets, but you know how we feel about you. And we have a big veteran community. Anybody that places any order, doesn't matter if you just buy the dog tag or a sweater or a shirt, we're going to throw in a Veterans Day gift of the mugs. That's for the first 100 people that place the order. If you're a vet or if you know somebody in your family that's a veteran. Next week is Veterans Day. Get some gear. It'll take 3 days to get to you so you can sport this next week. God bless to everybody. You can go to VT Merch for that. Having said that, let's get into the stories. Rob, you know which story I want to start off with? I love it when I see, tweet comes out about Mark Cuban being asked to step aside, right? Don't do anything. Don't say anything anymore. And I think I've even retweeted the tweet. If you can go under mine, keep going lower, lower, lower. I asked him. He usually responds. Mark and I will have exchanges together. It's friendly. Obviously, we're not on the same page, but he'll respond. This one here, I asked him, is this true? He never responded to it. Wall Street Silver posted this. The Kamala Harris campaign has told Mark Cuban to stop doing interviews on behalf of the campaign. If you go to the bottom, I think this thing got like a couple million. 2.2 million views. People wondering what happened there. Never got a response. Then a tweet comes out, Rob, if you want to play the clip with his apology. No, the tweet. No, not the clip, just the tweet with the apology. And we can go to Danica Patrick's video. When I said this during the interview, I didn't get it out exactly the way I thought I did. So I apologize to anyone who felt slighted or upset by my response. As I said, it wasn't about Trump voters, supporters, or employees, current or former. And I set myself up for the 6-second soundbite. No excuses. Can nail every interview. My skin is thick enough. What bothers me, though, is that so many of the comments or media in support of or against me has some level of insult attached to it, not just here, but everywhere. I'm not blaming anyone. We are where we are. Here's hoping that changes at least a little bit in a week. In the spirit of joy, I have to add that all the AI memes of me with the long hair cracks me up. So there is a positive. Good. So then he posts this out, trying to be positive about it. Good for him. And then Danica Patrick, Rob, I don't know if you have that clip or not. She responds because, Mark Cuban said there are no strong women around Trump's circle. I think that's the words, right? What he said.
Yeah.
Here's Danica Patrick. In a sport where she does the opposite of what the left supports, which on one end, allowing men to go compete against women. You know what Danica does? So I'm going to flip it on you. Men, I'm going to come and compete with you in your sport. What are you talking about, Danica? Only men race in NASCAR, not me. I'm going to come and compete with you guys. Oh, this is just a show. You'll never make it. And she did. And she was formidable racing amongst these guys. Danica Patrick. And here's what the great Danica Patrick had to say. Danica, please tell us what you're thinking. Go ahead, Rob.
So I saw that Mark Cuban went on The View, the gift that just keeps on giving, and said that Donald Trump does not like to have strong and intelligent women around him and that they intimidate him. First off, that's obviously wildly unintelligent. And second, as my own just anecdotal story, when I met him last week in Vegas at the rally for the first time, he said, "We need to get you a job." So am I not strong and intelligent?
By the way, very subtle,
nice,
respectful, gentle, kind. Tom, how do you process this? With the comments he made, are you someone that says, well, listen, he had a brain fart moment, he screwed up, you got to let it go, and, or is this one of those moments where you can't say something like that?
There are some things that are hard to walk back because it wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a statement, and the statement wasn't like getting your facts wrong or, getting a number incorrect. Oh, there hasn't been more than 2 million immigrants come across this year. Whoops, there's 5.5 or whatever it is.
Sure.
It's not like a slip. It was a statement, and it was, more importantly, it was his statement while he was out as a proxy campaigning for Kamala Harris. And it was a anti-Trump statement. And what's really interesting, after all this, he gets asked or told, just like Joe Biden, can you just not say anything? And so he comes out with an apology trying to turn the amazing heat down. Because remember, the heat went all the way to the campaign. Wait a minute. This guy has been out there saying these things. He's a proxy. You know what he's doing. You know the media appointments he's making. You see what's going on here. And so the apology seemed, first of all, that's not the way Mark talks. You read the apology, it was pretty expansive. Was it good to put the apology out? Yes. Is it good to put a complete apology out? Yes. But it really felt forced, especially with all the other comments that came out that said, yeah, he had a little
Adam, what do you think?
A little bit of a phone call with the campaign, and they were like, dude, knock it off.
I got you. Adam, what do you think?
Well, last episode we discussed the strong women that are around Trump. We talked about Laura Trump, and basically she's leading the RNC now. Alina Habba, Hope Hicks, the list goes on. Here's Danica Patrick. But there is a divide amongst women. We've highlighted this before. Married women with kids are breaking towards Trump. Single, obviously left-leaning liberal women, no kids, cat ladies, are breaking towards Kamala. And there's a bigger story here, I think, than just when Mark Cuban sort of word vomited out this perspective on Trump, which he quickly walked back. And Trump basically was like, he's a lightweight, doesn't know anything. Did you hear Trump's response to him?
Yeah.
Which you can show. But there's a bigger story here. Every election, there's some sort of divide. There's the education divide. There's a racial divide. There's a diploma divide. There's a city versus rural divide. There's a legal versus illegal immigrant divide. Who's voting? By far and away, the biggest divide going on right now is the gender divide. This is the largest gender gap in the history of elections in the United States. Trump is up 18 with men. Kamala is up 16 with women. It's the largest ever. So whatever happens in this election, and I tend to think Trump is going to win this, there is going to need to be a reckoning between men and women, because we are better together. We are stronger together. We do need to encourage people to have families and have kids and have babies. Yes. And it seems to be, what's so funny, PBD?
I just love the way you're sounding. You're unified now. You sound very sweet,
go.
very kind.
Well,
it sounds like a man that, wants to get married and have a wife and kids. I mean, I got emotional just listening to you for a second.
You want to
that laugh was me hiding my soft side.
He's hiding
and I just didn't want to reveal it.
Okay?
It's like, no, like, I'm going to be okay.
Hey, Adam, you're
here's the
you're
reality.
reading my notes. I've got your notes.
But here's my notes. But here's the reality. And, I don't care if I get shit from this. Men and women are operating on a different time frame. If you're 44 years old and you're a woman, I'm sorry to tell you, your time's done, honey. I'm not saying you can't be successful. I'm not saying you can't have an amazing life. I'm not saying you're still not beautiful. I'm just saying there's a very, very high likelihood you're probably not able to have kids if that's what you want. For men, your time clock is a little bit different. So
are you really going through this story? I got it. Tell me, what do you think about this? I'm not asking for a 7-minute explanation on the difference between men and women.
It would have been 2 minutes if certain people didn't cut me off. Thanks,
I'm going to do it to you because I'm trying to see. Do you think this here, do you think this is that big of a deal, Adam, where Mark is doing this? Do you think it's something that he can recover from this? Do you think people move on and it's over with?
I don't give two shits about Mark Cuban. What I care about is men and women in this interaction. This is the biggest gender gap we've ever had in the history in the country, and we shouldn't just gloss over it like Mark Cuban put his foot in his mouth again. There's a major issue in this country right now between men and women.
Show us
Do you
the data,
see the
Rob.
sticker?
Pull up that data.
Show the sticker that I sent you. Did you see it? There's women going around. Have you seen these things? Women going around encouraging other women to lie to their husbands. Don't tell your husband that you're going to vote for Kamala. Have you seen this?
No.
There's a girlfriend of mine that she went around. She said there was a bathroom. Stickers were all over the bathroom. It's on the text. Women were putting stickers all there, encouraging women. You can lie to your boyfriend. Text, Rob. Lie to your boyfriend. Lie to your husband. It's okay. You've seen ads for this. This is an actual theme that is happening. And women, here's the sticker right here. What does it say?
Husband doesn't need to know.
Here, your husband or boyfriend doesn't need to know you voted for Kamala Harris. Pass it on. Save women's rights. So here's what's going on. By the way, she said...
That's your handwriting,
That's
bro.
you, Adam.
That's true.
That's
because
your handwriting.
Because I care about women. I care about women even whether they like it or not.
Rob,
you don't
did you guys just write this like 10 minutes before the podcast to have content? Is this what you're doing to me,
This is what women
Rob?
are putting
I have
in
yellow
women's
post-its.
stalls.
That's your purple post-it.
Listen,
by the way,
abortion over the economy, abortion over the border, abortion over everything.
Pat, can I answer it really
Adam
quick?
Post. That's his handwriting.
With the whole Mark Cuban thing.
Okay, you have 11-minute time limit.
All right, ready for this? This is how the left, and he's one of them now. You want to jump into that circle, Mark Cuban? That's how they feel about us, Tom. Trump supporters are Nazis. We're deplorables, and this is how they think about women. It's always that side, Tom. They're always pointing the finger when it's always them, okay? And this is, by the way, I'm so happy because now the Mark Cuban charade is over. Okay, I know the election is tomorrow, but that's 2 days that we don't have to hear nothing coming out of this guy.
Was he a net positive or net negative?
Initially, he's a net positive because, as you know, Pat, it's a group thinking. It's, a billionaire. A billionaire's talking for us. And it backfired at the end. And I think we have to, it's not a huge deal, Pat, but let's hold these people's feet to the fire. Keep it in the fire.
Who said Mark Cuban has said a lot of dumb things over his career? Was that Biden that said it?
I think
Rob, who is the one that said Mark Cuban has said a lot of dumb shit in his career?
I mean, he has, and he's a flip flopper that just wants his image to stay relevant. And this is what happens when you have no substance. Chris Christie.
Chris Christie said that.
Yeah.
So Chris Christie, who's an establishment rhino conservative guy, that's saying Mark Cuban has said a lot of dumb shit in his career before.
All right. But here's my thing. Hold his foot to the fire. You know what? You effed up. Okay. And by the way, even in his apology, he's kind of like, well, I'm kind of going to blame you guys. No, you said it.
Rob, what's this clip here? Is this President Trump reacting?
Yes, he called into Fox and Friends over the weekend where he responded.
Go for it.
Hey, Pete.
Well, I know Mark very well. He's a very insecure guy. Can't hit a golf ball more than 50 yards. He's weak physically and mentally, as far as I'm concerned. But I've known him for a long time. He would call me in the White House incessantly. And finally, I just couldn't take his calls anymore. And then he went over to the other side. And he's a guy that wants publicity. When he said that, and he's totally retracted his statement, like, weak people always do. They retract their statements. But he was hit by some of the strongest, not human beings, women. He was hit by the strongest people that it wasn't men, women, it was women. He was hit by women that make men look like babies because many of the women that I deal with and that I have. And I could go over the list, but the list is long, including the fact that I happen to be married to a rather strong woman who just right now is the #1 bestseller in the whole wide world in her book, Melania.
Always selling, man.
I love it.
No, I've surrounded myself with women. I've given women chances, too. I mean, I had Kellyanne as the head of my 2016 big victory. Susie Wiles is strong. She's the daughter of Pat Summerall, right? Yeah. Good genetics there. And I have tremendously struggled. In fact, I've been actually accused of the other. They said, couldn't you get women that aren't as strong?
You can pause it right there.
The strongest women.
Yeah, you can pause. Go ahead,
There
Tom.
was one last thing that he said in there. He says, you have to remember, he says, he had to go back and support the candidate he was forced to support. And Trump dropped that. And there have been other people talking about that too, that said that maybe there was something that Cuban did or been a part of, and he was forced to support this candidate by proxy. I think there's also a bigger thing has to do with it. He can talk. You notice that Cuban doesn't say a lot about big pharma. He's trying to be
Can
big
I tell you
pharma.
something? Can I tell you guys something? Go back to April or May of last year, okay? If you go back to April or May of last year, that's when the election conversation started, okay? Rob, if I'm not mistaken, if you can go to DeSantis's book, I want to say it came out April of 2023. I may be wrong. Let me go to it. I had read the book and I talked about it. When did that book come
February
out?
20th.
February 20th. So say March 1st is when the book came out, right? And if you remember what I said is, hey, why isn't he getting out there? Why isn't he talking about the book? The book is very complimentary about Trump. So my assessment was the fact that maybe this guy, he doesn't want people to read the book because it's too much of a pro-Trump book and it's not much of a pro-DeSantis book. Maybe that's what it was. And then a lot of the people in the marketplace, they're like, well, it's DeSantis. And I'm like, this guy's not the guy to be the president, right? And you have to wait 4 to 8 years before you choose to run, right? We got a lot of heat. No, Trump doesn't. And by the way, again, if you can remember to go back 17 months ago, 18 months ago, Vinny, I don't know if you remember, 18 months ago, many people were off the Trump train. Trust me, everybody can act hard right now. A lot of people were off the Trump train. A lot of people were on the DeSantis train. Okay? A lot of people were. And it was, and by the way, some of the names, I will tell you guys off camera when we talk. I want to tell you one of the guys that we were at an event that he was even off the Trump train. It was uncomfortable even to be like, I'm close to, well, you know, we'll do this, but if you're too close to Trump, we are a Team DeSantis and all this other stuff. And then fast forward to what it becomes. Here's a problem with Cuban. Is he smart?
Yes.
Yes. Is he successful?
Yes.
Is he a good communicator?
Yes.
Is he formidable?
Yes.
What's his problem?
Big mouth, saying stuff.
No,
when he's
big
not...
mouth is not the problem because Trump's a big mouth. No problem. It's not. It's actually, think about it. See, think about this as your brother and you want to give him feedback. Think about this as a person you love. What feedback would you give to him? And he really wants to receive it off camera. They know you'll never say anything. What is his biggest problem?
He's in the wrong party.
What is his biggest problem?
The Democrats are the party of women.
I think he's not genuine, PBD, in the fact that he's like, you don't know where he is. One day he's over here.
What do you call that? Is that grifter? What do you call that?
Oh, grifter, or he's an
flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper, but he's unoriginal. Like you have to stay in your ground. Like once you're
what
this
do you call, is it, so what is it? Is that a flip-flopper? Is that like what John Kerry did back in the days?
Exactly what John Kerry
It's unattractive.
That's what I'm saying.
It's unattractive. Take a damn stand and take the heat.
Yep.
I get messages all the time. Oh, you know, we know who gave you the money and all this other stuff. Who gave me money? Oh, we know. Yeah, I'm totally comfortable you saying all this stuff, right? But sometimes you take a position and you're like, no, you don't want to help me? I'm going to go help him. Oh, you don't want to do this? I'm going to help him. Oh, you don't want to do this? I'm going to go. It's like an ex that hooks up with all your friends. Bro, go do it.
Yeah.
Those weren't friends in the first place. They're clowns and they think no one's going to find out. Of course they're going to find out. You just helped me identify who are the guys that I don't want to have in my life. Thank you for exposing 3 idiot friends that went and hooked up with a girl. That's exactly who you are. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, you know what the guy says? Dude, go sleep with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit who you want to sleep with. No one cares. That's who he is. He's the ex that will hook up with your friends just to hurt your feelings, and he doesn't realize you've moved on.
Yeah.
And he loses at the end of the day. Unfortunately, to me, that is his DNA. He is so capable, but he's screwed up with just going like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. And who are you not defending now? It's a very disappointing situation because I love competition. Mm-hmm. You know what I love? I love a good fight. You know what happens when Conor didn't fight Mike Chandler? Why was I upset? I want to see a good fight. Mm-hmm. You want to see a good fight. When you saw that the Yankees lost 4-1, who the hell wants to watch a freaking Game 5? You want to watch a Game 7, except for the Dodger fans. I want to see a good fight, right? Tom, get out. But for the most part.
Get the hell out of the room, Tom.
Go ahead.
But so let me ask you a question back. Great analogy. He is that ex, but you're like, I'm totally over it. That's Tom, elite boy. How much do you think that just that solo, besides the flip-flopping and the unoriginality, how much do you think that conversation, that statement about women would hurt his chances if he was good to run in 2028? That whole women are weak. And Adam, you always talk about that women, the voting block, the women are deciding. Do you think that right there, Pat, ruins him for 2028?
No. Listen, we have a short memory. People move very quickly. This is done by a couple days. Trust me. He's done. He's going to be doing other things. By the way, Kevin O'Leary is one of the biggest sounds right now, giving feedback on business, tariffs, all this stuff. Just 9 months ago, he was trying to answer for FTX $15 million that he took. Nobody remembers it.
Yeah.
Everyone forgot him. You move on. This is a very fast media day we're living in with social media. No one is sitting there living that right now. Anyways, let's go to the next story. Here's the next story I want to get into. Okay. Rob, I don't know why I like this clip a lot that Vinny shared with us. Can you show this clip? Check this out, guys. Here's a U.S. NSA's wealthy wife is up there debating with this Asian lady. Okay, you have to hear her accent, how tough it is to understand. But she reminds me of like a Malay, Javier Malay, who actually believes in what she has to say. Vinny showed this to me 4 hours ago. I said, we got to show this on a podcast.
You want me to tell you who she is? So PBD, the female... I got you guys. The lady's Lily Tang. Okay, she's a congressional candidate for New Hampshire. She's going up against National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan's wife, Maggie Goodlander. And this Lily Tang, and Rob has this video for after this one, Pat. She's the one that went after David Hogg. She grew up in China. Her parents and everybody grew up under Mao's communist rule. She was longing for freedom. She fled at 23 to come here with $100 and a little English Constitution book that sold her the dream, and this is her going up against Goodlander, Maggie.
And hope for the best. Hope that the results will trickle down to hardworking people. I take a very different approach. I believe that the middle class deserves a tax cut, and I believe that we will do a lot for this country by ensuring that we don't continue this disastrous tax policy.
Here she comes.
Mr. Williams.
You are wealthy. You're worth $20 million to $30 million. How do you know about regular people suffering? Do you go shopping, go to Walmart, buy food? I talk to those people. And you pretend to be renter in Nashua a few months ago, moved back to run for this open seat with millions of dollars from Washington, D.C. insiders. And the millions of dollars. I don't have money to run a TV ad. And you pretend you are poor, complain rent is so high. You couldn't save that apartment for other people to rent in Nashua. Just go back to your $2 million home in Portsmouth. Please don't say that, because you do not understand regular people's concern. People cry in my arms on this issue.
Can I say something first?
Yeah.
This is what I love about immigrants who come to this country legally, sometimes not even legally, how much they love and appreciate and value being an American. Because we start to see people on the far left who hate America, who are burning American flags, who are shouting death to America, who are pledging allegiance to ISIS or Hamas or Hezbollah, whoever it is. Meanwhile, you have people that came here from Mao's China or Fidel Castro's Cuba or Maduro's Venezuela. Have you seen videos of like the Vietnamese or the Koreans like singing, "We love Donald Trump, Donald Trump"? It's incredible. I don't know if you can find that.
That was great.
Thank you. Right there.
Great. Great.
Call the FCC. But the reality is, when you've experienced the worst of communism, you ain't going back. And once it's almost like if they start to smell like, here, you some South Koreans, they say, I don't like what's going on here. They smell the communism in the face of social democrats or gays for Gaza, whatever it is. And they're like, no, we want no part of that. Here, watch this video right here.
We can't. There's music in the background.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
well, you
mind
can play the video without music.
Adam, she says she fears that the country she loves, which is here, America, she has freaking kids, she's married to an American, that it's becoming the country that she left. And that's why she's running for Congress. She talks about the majority, she has to speak up and defend our country from the radical left and to keep the American dream alive for our children. And PBD, if you can, Rob, there's a video of her. David Hogg was at some, I don't know, I guess university, Pat, and she nuked him too. This is about guns, and this is about guns. Go ahead.
My name is Lily Tang Williams. Welcome to my live free or die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the U.S., in D.C., will never become a tyrannical government?
Watch, ready?
Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
Wow. I love her, Pat.
She's a G.
I love her. Lily Tang. I love her. And that's the most American chick I've seen in a while, and she's running for Congress against that. Look at her. That's her. Perfect. I love that, bro.
Here's a living example of someone born in Iran, made in America. It's always the immigrants who were forced to leave their homeland, who were basically uprooted left, whether it's the Cultural Revolution, whether it's the Ayatollah Revolution, whatever. They know what it's like to be oppressed. They know what tyranny looks like. They know what communism looks like. And they say, no mas. We ain't going back.
But you notice that it's here because we've never seen it. Meaning the people that are just walking around, they have no idea. Then you have somebody there who understands and has seen it, and they're coming here and they're blowing they're like, yo, guys, we're giving you the warning. The same shit that's happened there, they're trying to do it to you here. But America's like, nah, it would never happen. They're trying to shut us up. They're trying to take our guns. They're trying to indoctrinate the kids, take this drug, take this vaccine. It's like, at what point are we going to say enough is enough of this BS? And I'm happy, Tommy, that we have people like that aren't from here, that are coming here warning us, and people aren't listening.
Just hope she's not a spy. All right.
No, I think the majority of Americans
Fang.
are pretty damn soft. And what is happening here, Americans talk about persecution. I don't think Americans understand what persecution is. Most Americans don't understand that there's certain things that are annoying, certain things that are frustrating, certain things that really piss you off, like they're trying to sell trans, indoctrination to your kids at their school.
Yep.
But we haven't even got to first base on persecution. Americans are soft about it. But guess what? Conservative Americans are waking up because we can see it coming down the hall.
Last thing I want to say.
And we can hear the footsteps. And so now people are speaking up. And God bless you, Lily Tang Williams, for what you're doing. Run. I hope you win that election. And I love what you do. I love what you stand for because you're sounding the alarm because it's right down the hall. And soft Americans aren't waking up.
Run,
are see
Forrest,
it.
run. That's all I'm saying. So keep at it. All right. So this next story here on what happened with CNN comes out of nowhere, and they're showing a clip of Kamala Harris. Very weird that CNN is doing. It's not this one, Rob. It's the other one. They're showing a clip that on one of the ads, it's showing, Rob, just go to my Twitter account. It's right there. One of the ads, this is it. There you go. One of the ads is showing the Harris administration talking very positively to the Muslim community, and the other one is an ad created targeting Jews. So this is what you call an ultimate flip-flopper, and Kamala Harris is doing that, and CNN is so worried that they may go out of business after, election is over with. If Trump wins, they'll still be in business for another 4 years. But CNN needs to find a way to stay in business because they're just pretty much a institution that's supporting one side. They're so desperate and afraid of losing money because their salaries, imagine they had a meeting and they're saying, guys, you keep bullshitting around like this and just selling your agenda constantly, I'm going to have to lower your salary by 40%. Either be straight up or stop playing games. Oh, what do you mean? Well, we're paying you this much. You're going to go to $2 million next year. No. I'll be fair with the American people if my salary stays the same. No shit, Sherlock. Do your job. Be fair, right? Play this clip, Rob. Here's what happened. Take a look at
Tonight,
this.
mixed messages. A K-file investigation this hour finds Kamala Harris is targeting crucial battleground voters with vastly different messages on Gaza and Israel. This ad is running in Michigan, which has the largest Arab population in America.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
All right, well, it's a very different story for an ad in Pennsylvania targeting Jewish voters.
Let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
Different message. Andrew Kaczynski is out front now. So, Andrew, those obviously do sound starkly different.
Because they show something.
Tell me more about what you found.
Yeah, that's right. And this really illustrates the sort of fine line that the Harris campaign is trying to walk here in the closing weeks, closing days of this campaign on the issue of Israel. Here you have two entirely different constituencies, and they are getting two entirely different messages. There are often times these constituencies have very opposing views on this. If you are a Jewish person in Pennsylvania, you saw that ad that you're getting. You are getting that ad that talks about how strong she is in Israel. If you're a Muslim voter in Michigan, you are getting that ad on Facebook that's talking about how she won't be silent on the issue of Gaza. Now, what's really interesting here is that ad that we just played, the one that's going to Jewish voters in Pennsylvania. Now, it sort of sounds like those two clips of her talking about Israel are together, but they actually cut part of it out. Take a listen to what they cut.
Whoa. What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
And you've seen, too, that she...
okay, you can pause it right here. By the way, do you think, like, something like this, for whatever percentage of the Muslim vote and whatever percentage of the Jewish vote, what percentage of the Muslim and the Jewish undecided voter looks at this and says, what are you doing? And I'm out. At this point. Or Nothing. Like, does it move 500 voters? Does it move 8,000 voters? Does it move 15,000 voters? Does it move 100,000 voters? How much does this move, Tom?
I think this moves, you know, and I thought about this over the weekend. I honestly think this can move, you know, 1/4 to 1/3% of voters. And I'll tell you why. Because it's duplicitous. It's trying to do both things. And an independent voter that maybe had decided they were going to lean Kamala because, you know, all of the I'm not Trump kind of pulled him over the edge, or all of the, well, Trump is this and this pulled him over the edge, because it wasn't policies. It is an absolute fact that policies are not pulling voters over to Kamala. It is the continual barrage of I'm not Trump, and it's a perception campaign. So I think this moves a few voters back who were those weak, not weak people, but the independent voters that were not really sold on their position, their vote. But, well, you know what? All right, I'm gonna go Kamala here. There's a little sliver of those that I think pull back.
I don't know, Pat.
How many? How many?
I'm saying
500, 1,000, 5,000. How many?
I think in Pennsylvania, the Jewish voters, I think it moves about 0.5% of the Jewish voters.
I guess the part, again, we can do all of this with math. How many total Jewish voters do we have in the U.S., Rob? Can you pull it up? Is it a total Jewish, well, and I'm going to do Muslim. Total, let's do the same with total Muslim voters in U.S.
The most.
What is total Jewish voters in U.S.? What's the number, Rob?
7 million at the most.
Okay, in here it says data from CAIR indicates that there's over 2.5 million Muslim voters. Okay, 2.5 million
That's it.
Muslim voters. Of the 2.5 million.
Muslim or Jewish?
Muslim. I'm looking at Muslim.
Gotcha.
He's looking at Jewish. Okay,
Gotcha.
2.5 million Muslim voters. Okay, how do Muslims vote? Democrat or Republican? I think it's a 65, if I'm not mistaken, it's a 65-35. Okay, if you go to Pew Research, you would notice that, well, that's 2017. Okay, what percentage of, there you go, Rob, if you can pull that up. It's of 2020 Jewish adults. Okay, so right there, check this out. With estimates, 85% of eligible voters. Okay, so 85% of 4.4 million, which is what? Is that about 3.6 million? So what's 4.4 million, 4.4 times 85.
So it's 3.7?
3.74. So out of the 3.74 million, can you pull up what percentage of Jewish voters vote left versus right?
It's typically
if
like
you had to guess,
2/3, 1/3.
2/3 Democrat.
Maybe even higher.
Yeah.
Maybe 70-30.
So for Muslims, you would see 62% are Democrats, 17% are Republicans.
Yeah.
So let's actually do the math.
Okay.
2.5 million Muslim voters. In here, 62% are Democrats, which is 1.55 million of the 2.5 million. Okay. That's 62%, 17% are Republican. So 2.5 times 17%, you're looking at 425,000. How much have the Muslims moved to the right? What percentage of the 62%?
Have gone.
You think maybe they lost 5%? Maybe they lost 5%.
I don't think a ton have moved.
I'm saying 5%. That's 5%. Okay,
fair.
what's 5% on 250? 2.5 million times 5%. You're looking at 125,000 voters have moved. So of the 125,000 that have moved, let's put it at 550, okay, total, and the rest is on the other side. So of the remaining, whatever percentage that is left, okay, 1.4 million that's left. How many the remaining 1.4 or the 21% that don't lean either side, that's 300,000. How many of them haven't voted yet? Okay, that's what you have to consider. How many of them haven't voted yet? Let's just say 50% hasn't voted yet. Would you say 50% hasn't voted yet?
Yeah, I think we're in most big states like this where people are activated, and certainly activated in Pennsylvania because it's so important.
It's yes or no, Tom. Is it 50%?
Here's the deal: 65%.
Maximum.
Okay,
No.
So let's say
65% have voted early, and on election day, 32% vote. So 2/3 of people have already voted. They say.
So a third has not voted
Correct.
yet. Of the third that hasn't voted yet, of the 300,000 independent, no-leaning voters, what percentage did this move? 1% is 3,000 people. of the 3,000 people, then you have to ask yourself, what percentage of the 3,000 people is in battleground states that matter?
That's a great question.
Then you have to do the same with Jews. So does this really move anything? I don't think they're that scared of this. I think they're like, you know what? We can gaslight enough of them. They're going to vote for us anyways. They hate the other guy, Trump. They're going to come for. That's how it's almost an arrogant way of. You know what it's like? Let me tell you what it's like. It's an arrogant way of them saying, listen, even to those Muslims and Jews that we lose, the rest of you are going to be for us anyways. What do you have to say about it, Muslims and Jews? You got our back anyways, because the other guy's the scary guy. Don't forget, he's scary. He is very scary, right? So we have you. Don't worry, you're not going anywhere. You think that's the approach they take? Tom, do you think that's the approach they take? Or do they look at this as a blunder?
Are you saying this specific clip?
Bro, this ad they did, they knew what they were doing. It's not like this is a mistake. This is not a mistake. They did this ad knowing exactly what they were doing.
So I think many people have already made up their mind prior to them seeing this ad. It came out over the weekend, correct?
Well, meaning clip. The CNN
exposing
event,
this. So I think many people already made up their mind. So I think...
But if you're saying that, wait a minute. If you're saying many people have already made up their mind, if you think many people have made up their minds, then why are you still running an ad? The only reason they're spending millions of dollars still for 72 hours running an ad is because they're still thinking, I still got to get the undecided voter. So I don't think everybody has made up their mind. I think they're going after that 5 to 10% that is still undecided, but does that move the needle? Or are these guys that overly arrogant and confident to say, we know what we're doing, and you're still not going to do anything about it?
So you are right that it is only probably 5%, maybe 10% that is undecided. The hubris of the Kamala Harris campaign to run totally different ads in Michigan and in Pennsylvania, I mean, we get it. The fact that it's CNN exposing them and not Fox and not basically a right-wing media outlet is actually laughable. But here's the reality. I said this 6 months ago when everything was going on about Biden before Kamala Harris showed up, is that no one can serve two masters. What's the famous quote from Matthew in the Bible where no one can serve two masters, either will hate one and love the other, he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. So in this regard, Kamala has been pandering to the Muslims in Dearborn. She's also been pandering to the Jews in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. But people have been exposed to this for too long. The Muslims for Trump in Dearborn, Michigan last week, did you see that one coming?
No. Did you see the Somalia man?
No.
Rob, did you see the Somalia man video? Play the Somalia man video. Look how eloquently he speaks.
Yeah.
And look what he said. Rob, I think I send you the link. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you while I go to Tom real quick.
Is this the Somalia guy?
The link you're about to see is a community leader, an established businessman with Somali
Vinny,
background.
what do you want to say until we play this clip? Rob, I'll send it to you. I didn't send it to you earlier.
And I like what you guys are talking about the ad. I think it's more of the arrogance.
It's that one right there.
PBD that they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But my thing is going back to what Adam said about, you know, what he always says, follow the money. Follow the reasoning on why would CNN even air something like that would damage the Kamala Harris campaign this late in the game, Pat? Do you think it's because they're trying to save face and show?
Let me tell you what CNN is at, Vinny. I'm telling you where CNN is at. They have lost so much credibility. Vinny, here's what takes place. Let me tell you how it is. When I'm in the insurance company and there's sales guys that are working the bonus system. Meaning? And the company hasn't figured it out yet because sales knows how to do that, okay? And I've been on the sales side, I've been the sales leader, and I've been on the product side, and I've been the CEO. So I've been in all four, so I know all the positions and the fears and insecurities and, you know, ways you try to take advantage of the system. So all of a sudden, company is starting to kind of figure out something's going on here. Mm-hmm. There's these 4 markets that they're doing XYZ to manipulate the commission. Then those sales guys would meet up together and they would say, hey, we got to have an emergency meeting together. What's the meeting about? Company's about to change the comp plan. And it's going to cost me 40% of my income. What do you mean? Dude, I think I'm going to go from $700,000 to $400,000 a year income. Oh, shit. Yeah, my mortgage payment is $13,000 a month. My car payment alone, I have $4,000 a car payment. That's crazy if they do that. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? Now, they're gaming the system.
Of course.
So then they have to be forced to go back to do actually the right thing for the client, actually do annual reviews, actually pay attention to placement, actually pay attention to persistency, actually pay attention to documentation, proper needs analysis. They go back to doing business the proper way. CNN, mainstream media, have been doing that and still getting paid and realizing it's not like I'm getting a demotion. They're still paying me a ton of money to do this. All of a sudden, this year, these guys came and said, everybody's losing their salary. You ain't getting paid that kind of money anymore. Now they're having a meeting in freaking Hamptons They're going to dinner together at the same restaurants in Greenwich. They're going to the same places on Long Island, having the drinks, the left, the right, everybody. And they're like, dude, shit, man, I just went from 3 million to 1.2. You heard Johnny didn't make it. What are you talking about? Yeah, bro, he's gone. Are you serious? What's he going to do? I don't know, bro. I hope he saved his money. I don't think he did. His last divorce cost him $7 million. Oh, damn, I feel bad for that guy. That's what they're going through. So then CNN's going to say, MSNBC's going to say, hey, man, you guys better go back to proper journalism or else this shit's not going to work. We're getting our asses handed to us. Look where, Trump went to Rogan, 40+ million views. Look what America's going towards. They're not coming to us. So I think these guys are forced to have to report on this. They don't have a choice. The leader at the top says, is that the right thing to do? Report on it.
Yeah.
Do it. By the way, I'm going to transition to this next story, and you'll see why.
You want to see this one, Pat? This guy?
That's the Somalian guy.
Who's this guy?
He's a community. He's a local leader. Rob, go on and play this clip.
And the reason why is because he's a fighter. That's it. We like fighters. More importantly, the left left us. They left us. 33% of our kids at third grade cannot read at grade level. We went from the 6th to what? 19 now? In Minnesota in education? I mean, we are failing in every standard. 8th graders, 60% cannot do math at grade level. These are our kids. We talk about economic conditions here. Our conditions is horrible. We can't afford anything as working class and middle class people. Now, please understand this. We love our brothers and sisters who are Democrats, but you left us. And because the left left us, join the right, vote for Trump.
Wow.
2024, vote for Joe Trabe. 2024, vote for Maisie Young in St. Paul. 2024, vote for Tad Jude in CD3. 2024, vote for Tom Emma, our lion.
By the way, the left left us.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
left us.
That's a great quote.
That's the quote,
By the
Rob,
way,
for the clip.
I'm willing to
the
bet.
left us, Rob.
I'm
That's
willing to
great.
bet that this guy is in what state?
Minnesota?
Minnesota. Who's the congresswoman famous in Minnesota? Ilhan Omar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She's from Somalia. You know what they call the little area in Minneapolis? Because I have family there. Little Mogadishu. That's the capital of Somalia. But it's not shocking that it's 5 dudes up on stage saying the left left us. We are Democrats. They're not women on stage there. Again, gender gap still pervasive, even in Somalia, little Mogadishu, Minnesota. He's basically saying, I can't condone what's going on.
What do you think his religion is? That man's religion?
He's probably Muslim.
Okay. When it's Muslim, who speaks on behalf of the family in the Muslim community? Who speaks?
The men.
Typically the men,
Okay.
yes.
This is a cultural. This is a culture. I get what you're
But
saying.
she's the most famous.
She can be the most famous, but in that culture, you want to talk about like the man of the household in the Muslim community, bro. It's the man of the household.
I fully understand that,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is, I'd be
You're making a
way
very
more impressed if Muslim women came out and they were supporting Trump.
Right.
That would be compelling.
I think the argument you're making in today's podcast, the fact that the women vote we have to pay attention to, you're right. All I'm asking is, when they make a clip like that, one day advertising to Muslims, saying we're this, the other day advertising to Jews, do they think they own the Jewish and the Muslim vote that they're not going to leave them? You have to be so bold. That's not a blunder like Mark Cuban saying, hey, he doesn't have any strong women around him. That's not a blunder like Biden saying, hey, garbage supporters, Trump supporters. No, they spend millions on that ad knowing that's their job. These are not dummies.
Yeah.
They're doing it thinking the voters are dummies, not them. That's how they're doing it. What an arrogant position to insult two great communities, Jews and Muslims, okay? That are on one end with Muslims, what community are they part of? You think they're part of this LGBTQ stuff? You think they're part of this transgender woman? You think they're part? No.
But they do have the gays for Gaza.
You know, and then you got the other side with, so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here with this side, but we're going to find out if it's going to work out or not. Next story I want to go through, which has to do with MSNBC. So MSNBC is owned by Comcast. For some of you guys that are looking for a fire sale, MSNBC's parent Comcast is waiting to spin off declining cable networks, one of them being MSNBC. Look, by the way, Rob, can you go to MSNBC's YouTube channel? I want to show you guys something I saw last week. I'll read this while you just go to their YouTube channel. So Comcast president Mike Cavanaugh announced the company is considering a spinoff its cable network, including MSNBC, CNBC, Bravo, E, to create a new well-capitalized company for shareholders that could better navigate the charging media landscape. However, NBC and streaming service Peacock would remain with Comcast, of course, because it's profitable. Comcast media business saw a $1.9 billion revenue boost in the third quarter, primarily from the Paris Olympics, with Peacock adding 3 million subscribers, reaching 36 million. Despite these gains, Comcast lost 365,000 cable TV subscribers. Those are two different games, Comcast. You're doing a good job wanting to sell these. Reflecting the industry-wide shift away from traditional TV bundles toward streaming, the potential spinoff reflects broader industry challenges as traditional pay TV subscriber losses hit a mind-boggling 4 million in the first half of the year. Tom.
Well, guess what? It's not Back to the Future. It's Welcome to the Future. And the future is a very tough environment. So you've got MSNBC basically taking, 3 dogs, and I don't know what to do with it. The dogs are MSNBC, Bravo, and E. And when I say dogs, I'm speaking like Boston Consulting Group, stars, question marks, dogs, and cash cows. There's no discriminatory or disrespectful thing. But let's face it, MSNBC, Bravo, and E are dogs. CNBC, there's something there. That's the jewel of the pack. Because it's, there's the Bloomberg network, but CNBC is relatively unassailed. What you have here is yesterday's distribution isn't working, and they've got some very unprofitable channels, and they want to unload them. To who? Mm-hmm. To who? Zaz, the nickname for the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, went to the Allen and Company conference in the spring and couldn't sell CNN. He wanted to sell CNN. He had problems with, they had the Cuomo controversy that they made. Then they had the Don Lemon controversy. Then they had declining ratings. Then they had their own drama with they were going to have to get rid of certain stars and cut salary. They couldn't sell it. And CNN is a jewel of a brand name. And they couldn't sell that. And so now MSNBC is trying to sell a bunch of junk that's not profitable to put into the streaming subscription. And they're losing, think about that, 4 million subscriber losses on pay TV subscriber. That's defined as cable and satellite. And there's only about 150 million homes, give or take, if you look at it, of 330 million Americans. So guess what? That's huge. That's huge. And it's been going on for a while. Same problem. And now what you have here is on the other side of it, at least you've got CNN trying. Pat was absolutely right. They're forced to be more balanced. They're forced to do it. And the person that does it was Erin Burnett, who came from CNBC and was a morning business reporter that had a lot of spine, a lot of backbone, would ask CEOs good questions, and she had integrity, far as I could tell. Then she goes over to CNN with the producer in her ear, taking very liberal positions, some of them absolutely not true. And so this is the problem that MSNBC has. They don't know what to do with this stuff. And by the way, do you think MSNBC can come back the way CNN is, at least trying to show some balance? Do you think it's possible?
MSNBC is too far gone. They've gone too far left.
I think it's all of them, guys. And you made a great point, Pat. I think it's all of them, because what do you say about bad policies? It's like the consequences. Have consequences. All of these people, MSNBC, CBS, all these people, CNN included, this is what you get for lying to us constantly, over and over, being political. They're not political, they're activists. They're political activists. They're not reporting. What happened to the Tom Brokaws, where they would just go in there and they would say what's happening. They'd give a little bit of an opinion, but they weren't pushing a narrative. You know what I mean, Tom? And this is what happens.
Even the Dan Rathers, who you knew he was a little bit liberal, and very liberal in his personal life, managed to keep it down the middle in the early part of his career, and then went over the waterfall with everybody else.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So good for that, Pat. And I'm sorry to say, that's why places like Valuetainment, Joe Rogan podcast, all these people, because we're saying it as it is. We're not sitting there saying, I have yet to have anybody on this podcast, any of us say, make sure you vote for Trump. No. What have we said? Go and vote for what you think is going to be the best thing for the country. We're not telling people what to do, unlike these people.
Yeah, I was watching MSNBC the other day. I was watching the Rachel Maddow show, and she was talking about how basically Trump doesn't have any strong women around her. And then I realized, oh my God, that's Mark Cuban. That's not Rachel Maddow. What's going on right here? But all these companies
you couldn't tell because of the glasses.
I couldn't tell. All these companies, they're fighting for market share. I would argue is that a lot of them are fighting for survival. everything has been disrupted in media because of digital, what we're doing here on podcasts, what we're doing on YouTube, what we're doing basically on social media and online. And we've heard the mantra, cut the cord and basically get rid of cable for years now. People are doing it. PBD basically reiterated what he's been saying for quite a long time now on Piers Morgan the other day when he basically said there's only 3 things keeping cable afloat, right? Which is boomers, which, love my mom, love my, family. That hopefully they're with us for a much longer time, but it's probably only 20, 30 more years, and then they're done. Sports is basically moving to things like Hulu and Peacock and Amazon and other options out there. And then there's Big Pharma. PBD, what percentage of ads is on TV is Big Pharma? I think it's like 70% or something like that. Something crazy like that. So the media is going through disruption, and I wouldn't be shocked if some of these are basically sold off for pennies on the dollar.
Well, check this out. While you're talking about that, Marc Benioff, there's one thing that I'm seeing with a pattern. Marc Benioff, in talks to sell Time magazine to Greek media giant Antenna Group, and this is Salesforce co-founder. He's a billionaire. He's worth almost $11 billion. He's talking to this organization to want to sell Time magazine for $150 million, according to CNBC. He originally bought it in 2018 for $190 million. At the time when he bought it, it had roughly 4 million subscribers, okay? Circulation was 4 million when he bought it at 190. Today, it's at 1.6 million. If we just use the math based on that from 4 million to 1.6, that means it's worth somewhere around $80 million, okay? I'm just doing 1.6 divided by 4 million, right? And he recently expressed frustration over Time magazine's inability to secure an interview with Vice President Kamala Harris, tweeting, "Despite multiple requests, Time has not been granted interview for Kamala Harris. This comes as Time faces continued financial challenges, including 2 consecutive years, not months, not quarters, but years of losses." So check this out. So one end, Comcast wants to drop MSNBC. When is this story leaking? A day before election. Marc Benioff, a guy worth $11 billion, wants to sell Time magazine. When is this story dropping? A day before election. What's going to happen after election with Time magazine and MSNBC? What will be the level of peak? You have to know, for these guys that their game is politics, when is their peak? Right now is their peak. Anything after this, it drops off. And the next peak will not happen for 4 more years. Midterms is not that big of a deal. It's a big deal, but not like the peak that this is going to have. And you have to realize, when is the next time you're going to have as entertaining of a presidential candidate as Donald Trump?
Never again.
By the way, name me anybody that wants to get into it. Even all the celebrities that want to get into it. They're not entertaining like Donald Trump, right? Okay. So that means when you show the games when Michael used to play in the 90s and the most viewed NBA playoff games of all time, you know what you'll notice? It's the game against the Utah Jazz. When Brian Russell, he shoves them with the left hand, boom, 35.8 million or whatever. You're looking at all the 32 million, 34 million, 36 million. Michael leaves, NBA never, ever has had the same kind of viewership as it did when Michael was playing. This is very important to be thinking about. Rob, can you type in most viewed NBA playoff games of all time? Look, have you ever seen these numbers or no? Okay. Most viewed NBA playoff games of all time. This is what's about to happen to cable. Wow. And I want you to rank them. Not even this one, Rob. All of them. All of them. Top 10. What's okay. Go to whatever one, Rob. That's a list. Just pick on one of them. Zoom in a little bit. Let's see. Go back. Okay. So 2024. How many views? 10.9 million views. Dallas-Boston Finals. 12.3 million views. Okay, that's 10, whatever that was. 12, go to the next one. 11 million, 11 million, 11, 10 million, 13 million game 5. Go to the next one. 11, 13, 14 million barely. Keep going. Look at this. 12.78 million last game. Game 1 was 8 million. Keep going. No one cares. Look at this. Single digit. Keep going. Man, nobody gives a shit. Keep going. No one cares. Keep going. Keep going.
The highest
Keep
has been 14
right
so
there.
far,
Go back
right?
up. No, 31 million game 7 right there. You know what that is? Look at the game right there. Golden State, Cleveland when LeBron came back. Even with that, that's game 7 against Golden State.
17, what does that say? 16?
31.2 million.
Yeah, okay,
but watch this. That's what year. 2019. Keep going low. But prior to that, the biggest game was 20 million. Keep going. Look at the numbers. Single digit. See, 16. Keep 18. Going. keep 24 million, keep
Game
going.
7.
28 million, keep going. 14 million, keep going.
right?
17 million, keep going. 6 million, nobody gives a shit about Cavs and Spurs. Keep going. 10 million,
Dallas,
nobody
Miami.
cares. 11 million, nobody cares. Nobody cares, keep going. Nobody cares, single digit, keep going. Nobody cares, keep going. Nobody cares, keep going. Nobody cares, keep going. Nobody cares, keep going. Am I sound like a
Bulls,
broken record?
Yes.
Now watch
98
this.
Bulls.
Watch this. 22.8. Go a little bit lower. Watch
35.
this.
35
$35.89 million.
Wow.
MJ.
But look at the games from beginning, from game one.
26,
Game one is 27 million. 26, 25, 29, 30, 36.
Must see TV.
That's Michael.
Must see
Keep
TV,
going lower.
MJ.
Keep going lower. Look at this. If Michael's in the finals, 25, 23, 21, 26, 30, 29. Keep going lower, okay? Keep going lower. Look at this. Keep going lower. Keep going lower. Keep going. This is Michael era. This is when Michael retired at this time.
This is when Michael's playing
There was
baseball.
2 years that he was playing
but
baseball.
But the point, what I'm trying to
He's
tell you
double.
is MSNBC is saying, Time Magazine, what the hell are we doing post-Trump?
Yeah.
It may be 20 years of dry.
Great point.
This is a real business we're talking about. How the hell are we going to make money? Hey, this is Time Magazine. Imagine if you own Time Magazine. Right. Not today. And it's got to be owned by the right people. We would probably entertain buying it. Not at this number. We buy Time Magazine, but we wouldn't buy it at the number they're asking, right? So you have to realize the reason why Comcast is selling, the reason why Marc Benioff is selling, Time Magazine is a headache to Marc Benioff. MSNBC is a headache to Comcast. Comcast wants to go buy the next Chiefs Miami Dolphins game and pay $110 million and get 3 million subscribers from one game. That's what they want. They don't want to deal with all this other headaches of MSNBC that brings them the most issues on a weekly basis. The board is sick of it. And a lot of these guys and gals who went to Columbia University and were told you are so special because you're so liberal and because you are so amazing in all the great stuff that you think you're doing. Market's telling you you're fired. You suck. The market is very cold sometimes. And some of these people have to find a different job. You know what's the hardest thing about podcasting? You got to do all the stuff yourself.
Damn right.
Go ahead, buddy. Do it.
Yep.
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and spend the money. And go, how much does AdSense make money at the beginning? Not a lot. So these guys are in a very strange time, and they are selling at a time where they know what happens once Michael retires. You're not going to have another entertaining. Politicians are boring. You want to find another entertaining guy like this? No, that guy's not out there. He may not be there for the next 10 to 20 years. Most of them are very proper. Yes, I agree with what Tim Walz has to say, and I agree with this person, and I agree with this. It's very, maybe Vivek, but Vivek's never had a TV show. No. Vivek's never been a playboy. Vivek's never been in all these movies. Vivek, and by the way, as good as he is, and as formidable as he is, this guy's a different league.
Of course.
This guy's a different league. So that's the part where the market has to be ready for 2028 season. And what I said right now, it's not left, right, center. It's everybody. Yeah. It's everybody. Watch. It's going to be interesting to see what Fox does post-Trump. What everybody does post-Trump. Can you hang? Are you that good they can hang? Or is it all Trump, 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 Trump? Okay, let's see how good you can be after Trump is gone. The market. All these guys that blew up during COVID, creating content during YouTube. Let me tell you about the next, what was it? Every time that we're paying, what was the money they were saying? Stimulus. Next stimulus reaction. Oh my God, the guy's got 70,000 people live watching him. Wow. Next stimulus, next time. Let me tell you what's in this stimulus. Oh my God, this guy just got 1 million subscribers in 2 months. Where are they today?
Gonzo.
Because all they did is stimulus reaction.
Stimmy checks.
Where are a lot of people going to be after Trump? So a lot of, hey, listen guys, some of you that are listening, some of you guys that you got where you're at right now with Trump, if you want to stay at the top, leave or recreate yourself because market's going to expose you if you got nothing, including us. If we don't have anything else to be recreating ourselves around, market's going to be like, what else? What else you got? But that's not something that we sit here being worried about. But the market is scared shitless with what's coming next. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, you know some of the side conversations that they're having at some of the most liberal outfits, maybe even at some of the conservative outlets is, oh, I fucking hate Trump. I hope he loses. It's like, you do realize that he makes us a lot of money over here, and we get to keep our
Yes.
jobs. And no, but I hate Trump. He's the worst. He's
you
a Nazi.
can say that
yeah,
all
but I
you
swear,
want.
I mean,
Yes.
our ratings were double what they were before. So
No
maybe we could
problem.
keep him on for 4 years
That's
and
right.
get him out. No, but he's the worst.
Yeah.
So they're basically grappling between being a capitalist because they want to keep their paychecks, but being socialist and liberalist.
I mean, watch this.
because they want to basically trash
You're
Trump.
right. They can't do that, though. I'll go to this next one here.
Yeah.
Harris to make surprise appearance on SNL. Okay, Saturday
She
Night
did it.
Live.
She made it.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah.
How was it? Did you guys watch it? Because I haven't watched it.
She was hilarious.
Can we play this, Rob, or no?
Hilariously
I don't know
bad.
if we can play this. Don't play it, Rob. Don't play
If
it.
we
do
comment,
still
we
images.
can play it. If we talk and
Yeah, I'll
comment
talk
as we
over it.
play it,
I can give you
okay.
some play-by-play.
But just go to when she's doing the mirror on the wall type of a thing.
How far is it? Just go to like the
If you
mirror
just
on the
go,
wall.
you know,
So
Yeah,
Joe
here it is,
Biden
yeah.
said. So Joe Biden comes in. They're doing the Joe Biden part, and then she's like talking to herself.
Let's press play. Go ahead.
There's actually a funny part when she's like, "Do I really laugh like that?" She goes, "Yeah, kinda."
Listen for the audience. As if Jesus Christ walked in. This is liberal heaven. Liberal heaven. A candidate that hasn't done shit for you, and they're applauding. They probably have signs that say "clap."
Okay, you can pause right there.
Yeah.
By the way, isn't
that
this the
face.
same thing as Jimmy Fallon and Trump did with the light bulbs
It's
on the side?
exactly the same thing.
I don't
they
know.
stole it.
Are you serious?
This is it.
So they pretty much stole it from Fallon.
Well,
It's the same
SNL, yeah, they do this skit all the time. They've
Okay,
done this
so it's
stuff
not
with,
something that's a... Okay, let me just read it to you first, and then
Here
we can
they
get to this. So
go.
Vice President Harris said, okay, do we have the numbers, Rob, of what the actual numbers was of her being on? I'm curious to know what kind of eyeballs
I
it
think
got.
the clip that they did got, I think 8 million views in 2 days.
Okay, so got 8 million views
I'll double check that
in 2 days. So this takes place. FCC comes out because the Commissioner Brandon Carr criticized NBC's decision to host Kamala Harris on SNL before election day, arguing this has all the appearances of NBC at SNL, making clear that they wanted to weigh in favor of one candidate before the election. He emphasized that the broadcasters have a license from the federal government that obligates them to operate in a public interest, calling for all FCC members to speak up immediately and keep every single remedy on the table. Harris appeared in the sketch with Maya Rudolph as her own character's method, which is what we just talked about right now. Carr accused NBC of structuring the cameo in a way that plainly designed to evade the FCC's rules with no notice of other candidates just 50 hours before Election Day. What ends up happening with NBC? NBC comes out and gives Trump, if you want to play, Rob, if you want to play that clip that they have to give to Trump, Guardian comes out, reports on this. They gave him the equal time. After Harris was on, they came back and they said, we'll give it to you. NBC provided Donald Trump with equal time by giving him an opportunity to address the voters. After a NASCAR race, this move came after the FCC challenged them. They need equal time. And here's what it'll look like, Rob. Is this the clip? Go ahead and play like the first 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Hello to our great sports fans, and I hope you're having a fantastic time. We're 2 days away from the most important election in the history of our country. We've got to save our country, and it needs saving. It's in very bad shape. The worst economic numbers in generations were just announced 2 days ago. We're losing jobs. We're losing everything, including viability. We're going to end up in a depression based on what's been happening. We've never seen anything like it, at least for the last 40 years.
You can pause.
We have to straighten.
So they gave him the platform to go up there and give the message. Maybe that audio is a little too loud, but I'm assuming they did the video, they give it to them, and then they played it for them, right? I'm assuming that's kind of how the setup was probably when that took place. But Tom, what are your thoughts about this? This is another thing where NBC has to play careful because these guys could come after them. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, NBC got busted. They got busted. They agreed with the campaign. The campaign and them talked, hey, let's put her on SNL. Yeah, that's a great idea. Because they're promoting it. MSNBC is reporting it. NBC is reporting it. And so they were there to, support her and push it. And so they gave it to her, and it went to the top. I am convinced. This is my view of it. From what the things said in the media and things that were there, it went to the top. And somebody said, dude, we got to give him equal time. It's one thing if we've got cameras on him or he's at a Georgia-Alabama game and we're just covering the fact that, oh, look, the president's in the audience here and people are going nuts. That's coverage. When you give them voice, they have to follow the equal time rule. So they have this ham-handed thing where they say, hey, we got to give you a few minutes here, put it on right here. So NBC got busted. They had no intention of playing this equal time until an FCC commissioner steps up and says, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? So I think it's kind of embarrassing for NBC.
By the way, I like it. Okay, Rob, what is this here that you have? Is this the reaction, his thoughts?
Yes, Brandon Carr from the FCC.
Go ahead and play this clip. Let's see what he has to say.
And what should be the ramification here?
Yeah, we need to keep every single remedy on the table. I mean, one of the remedies the FCC has ultimately would be license revocation if we find that it's egregious, and we'll see what they have to say about this. But it needs to deter this type of conduct, because when you're 50 hours before the opening of Election Day, the whole purpose of this rule is to give people a fair shot.
There you go. Good. Good that he's doing this. And by the way, this is the part. There's a reason why there's monopoly laws. There's why you need law and order. There's a reason why you need law and order for capitalism to work. Some people on the libertarian side will argue you don't need it. I think, by the way, if there was no law and order here, guess what? They would have gotten away with this.
Of course.
Yes, they would have gotten away with this.
I'll go because I was going to
Well, you know, we talked about this over the weekend. You know, amazing that Kamala had the time to get over to New York to shoot the sketch with SNL, but had no time to go visit Joe Rogan in Texas when a 3-hour sit down was on the table. And what she offered, well, we'll do an hour and you have to fly to me. Rogan goes, no, I don't think that's actually fair. But I'm actually shocked she didn't make SNL go to her. So the reality is SNL is a cultural icon, but they've gone further left and left and left. Shout out to Lorne Michaels, 50 years of that he's been doing his thing on SNL.
Well, by the way, to be fair, SNL's been making fun of Biden and Kamala for the last 6 months. To be fair, I don't want to sit here and be like they're not. I've seen some clips where they really made fun of Biden, and the guy did a great job impersonating.
Dana Carvey
He crushed it.
Well, he did it before that scene. He's out there saying like, "Hey, it's no joke." He's making fun of him. But just to let you guys know, in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Lorne Michaels confirmed that he had not reached out to any candidate, Trump or Kamala, to make appearances on the influential sketch show before Election Day, and he doesn't plan to. He said, and I quote, "You can't bring the actual people who are running on because of election laws and the equal time provisions." This is what he said.
When did he say this?
He said this October 1st. 2024. He said there will be no October
that
surprise.
Was a month ago.
Yeah, and he goes,
brought her
you
on.
can't have main candidates without having all the candidates, and there are lots of minor candidates that are only on the ballot or on the ballot in 3 states and become really complicated. So what makes him break the law the last minute? Why is that? Because listen, the law is broken. Okay, Trump's going to come and they're going to do the thing. That was their goal, is to have as many, because guess what? That's what the left does, guys. They break the rules, they cheat, and they don't give a shit, and they don't get help. So, question about the money, Trump suing them. Is it over now?
Who is he suing exactly?
He was going to sue who?
So there was CBS.
No, that's different. That's CBS with 60 minutes.
My bad.
Separate with 60 minutes. However, just keep this in mind, guys. This is very important on what's going on. There is a guy that you can't bully because he's been in media for 40 years and he knows these rules. Mm-hmm. This guy's been around way before the Fair Doctrine Act of 1987, I believe. He's 78 years old. Yeah. And he's in the city of New York. How many interviews do you think he's done? How many shows do you think he's been on? He's been on shows where people's fathers interviewed him. Now their son is in their 60s and they're getting older. Like that's how old this guy is. So I mean, this is not a guy that is a lightweight. So the level of disruption he's causing in media, he's annoying them.
Yeah, he is.
And they can't do what they've been doing for free without any kind of accountability for a couple decades. Yep. Then this guy shows up. So I'm telling you, the level of disruption we're about to see, this next phase is going to be very weird and awkward. Very, very weird and awkward, yet exciting. That's the beautiful part about capitalism. You don't recreate yourself. You don't improve. You don't outwork. You don't out-improve. You don't out-strategize. You don't outlast. Unfortunately, the market is very brutal, okay? And that's the beautiful thing and the ugly thing about the market. It has no sympathy for you, nothing. This cold, think about the coldest person you've ever met in your life that will tell you you're fat, that will tell you you're ugly, that will tell you you're short, that will tell you you're skinny, that will tell you you have chicken legs, that will tell you all that stuff. That person you have in your life that will tell you all your insecurities times 100 is how the market works.
Well, speaking of being cold, this video that she was on with Kamala Harris and Maya Rudolph was their first scene that they do in every week on SNL. It's called The Cold Open. It has almost 10 million views, which is her most viewed video, I think. Anything. You said that her video, that Trump on Rogan got 40 million views already.
More than anything.
And that is what you said, Pat, I don't want to butcher the numbers. You said double all her views put together, combined? Kamala Harris, Pat?
All of her interviews.
Okay. So the reality is you can put together J-Lo, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. You can throw them all together. Cardi B, put them all together. Put Mark Cuban out there. You can put Tampon Tim out there. None of it is going to equal the power of going on Joe Rogan and Elon Musk retweet. None of it. And that's who Trump has in his side. So you have the entire left-wing media establishment. You have the NBA. You have the political establishment. You have MSM, the mainstream media. You have universities. You have all these things against you. And then you just everyday working people in America be like, nah, I'm still going to vote for Trump.
Yeah. But what phone
And
call,
that's the reality of it.
Pat, what phone call is made to Lorne Michaels that goes, hey, listen, we know this is illegal. We need you to put Kamala on. And he goes, okay. He goes, okay. I know I'm breaking the what? I'm breaking.
No, I don't think that's how it works.
How does that happen?
I don't think that's how it works. I think, let me tell you, that's not how it works. So, for example, this weekend, we're doing the event that's coming up, right? There was some changes that was going to happen with the event. And I went on Sunday, I'm like, no, we're not doing it this way. We're doing it this way. I texted Rob and I had a call together. Rob, I had a phone call, video and all this stuff. We're going back and forth. And I processed the decision with him. And Rob says, here's why we do it this way, because that's okay. That makes sense. So, boom, you do this. But then there were certain things with the set and the table. I didn't like the way we had it. We changed it up. And a few other decisions that was made. Those decisions are made from the top. Okay? Those decisions are not made from the bottom. It's made from the top. Okay. Some decisions that we made on tickets, some decisions we made on, security, some of those decisions. And some people are just doing their jobs. Okay? Lorne Michaels is just doing his job. In this situation, he's just an EP, okay? What is his role in this context?
He's the top dog.
No, I didn't tell you he's not a top dog.
He's the creator of SNL.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. What's a top dog?
He doesn't own NBC.
No. Is he still an employee to somebody?
Yes.
Is he still working for somebody?
Yes.
That's not on him.
Yep.
I think
decision was made from the top. Before we throw him under the bus, he doesn't make this decision. He's not the majority shareholder. No, it's a guy at the top that's saying, you're going to do this because of this, and probably there was a phone call with a lot of fights. I foresee Lorne was upset because it broke his word. And by the way, I don't know this guy. I've never met him. The other day was the only thing that happened was, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I don't know him. I've never broke bread, never had a conversation with him. And by the way, quite frankly, this is going to sound bad. You guys have educated me about him.
Yeah.
Have you not been in the rooms when I ask you, who is he? And you're like,
yes.
What do you mean, who is he? Are you?
And
I'm like, I was never an SNL guy.
Yeah.
This guy give me the vibes. If all these comedians respect the hell out of him, you don't earn that by winging it and treating people like shit.
Yep.
You earn that by actually doing something right. Again, I don't know. So there was a call in the background where he's telling them, I can't do this. Just 6 months ago, I said this. No, we have to do it. It's this, it's that. That's how I foresee it. And by the way, I could be fully wrong. Pure speculation. I have no intel on this. You look like you want to say something.
No, I'm just reading basically what his title is. Rob's going down the other way. I'm just looking for the bio over there.
All right, so let me go to the next one here. Here's the next one. Guys, let me ask you a question. Just a question. Question for everybody. Question for everybody. How often do you talk and say something like, hey, Vinny, you know that gay guy? You ever talk to people like that?
Never.
I'm just curious. Do you talk like that? Do you talk like that? Maybe you're watching this, you're like, I don't want to admit to it because I'm sitting in the bathroom watching this, but just yesterday I told my brother that gay guy. Okay, maybe that's you. That's okay. But guess what? Don't feel bad because somebody that's about to be your vice president also says that regularly. He says it so regularly that it's slipped up on stage. This is not even without cameras being on. Okay? And this guy, you know who he called that gay guy? The guy that's got 11 kids. I don't know how a gay guy has 11 kids. That's not possible. A pastor of me long time ago said, this is how I explain my stuff to my kids when it comes down to making kids. Boys, you can't make kids like this. And it took me a couple months to realize what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You can't. It's just...
At all?
It's scientific. Like this is like science. This is like legit stuff. You skip biology, which kind of worked in your favor. But Rob, if you want to play this clip, he called Elon Musk...
Pat, don't judge me.
I would never do that.
He never judges you. How long have you known that?
I would never do that. Rob, play this clip.
So poorly. Not only did we lose 10 million jobs, We were pitted into a hunger game against our neighbors to find toilet paper. That's how bad it was. So now, I suppose it wasn't too bad, thinking back to that economy. If you're a billionaire, Elon Musk, for example, say, that guy got it. Michigan knows that word. Look, that dude got a tax cut and the rest of us got shafted on.
He paid $11 billion in taxes, Tim. How much have you paid in taxes? He's created hundreds of thousands of jobs. He was able to get a rocket to go and come back in 1/20th of a cost of NASA. When Boeing said, let's leave those couple people up there, we need till next year, he says, I can come and help. When you needed battery chargers nationwide, he already thought about that 15 years ago. When Zelensky, the greatest beggar fundraiser in the world, needed to get some money, and they talked shit about Elon, you know who gave them Starlink? Elon did, internet. That's the guy? That's the gay guy? The guy with 11 kids is a gay guy? That's the guy. Really? How many gay guys do you know running 5 different multi-billion-dollar companies? How many? And still got time to make 11 kids with his wife or whoever the mother that he's making kids with. I mean, this is not a, you want to criticize somebody like that? Hell, you know what may happen? A lot of people, straight men, just want to be called a gay guy and go create multiple billion-dollar companies. But when you think about, by the way, guys, this is not a comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
This is not a podcaster that's just kind of having fun entertaining. This is not an athlete that's just in this, game talking shit to each other. This is not a military first sergeant or some first class that's telling something like this while they're in the barracks, shooting shit and somebody records and posts it. This is the guy that wants to be your vice president, calling the #1 entrepreneur in America that gay guy. You understand how weird that is?
So
I'd never do that to Adam. He's calling him that gay guy.
That gay guy. You've never said that. You've never said that.
Adam, how do you feel about that gay guy comment that Tim Walz just made?
Listen, I'm going to just quote Elon Musk on this, right? I got no problem being called gay, to be honest. Yeah, you like that?
Sick.
He said from a user called Tim Walz, beyond pathetic. In the video, you can hear someone in the crowd yelling, dipshit, whatever. But the reality is there's... when you're running for president of the United States, you're vice president of the United States, or you're the president of the United States, and you're calling people garbage, or Hillary calling people deplorable. There's a difference between calling out the voters, the actual people, and versus actually calling out the people around. They criticize Trump for basically saying, everyone around Kamala is the worst people ever and they're garbage. Those are the people around her. When you're criticizing voters, that's where I have a problem. Like the whole Tony Hinchcliffe thing, the Puerto Rico thing. If that's the best October surprise you got to do better, Democrats. Trump's a Nazi, you got to do better. So to me, this is just a comment that Elon Musk brushed off. But the rhetoric from the left is actually becoming quite absurd. But yet it's Trump who was the one that is basically vindictive, and he's the mean one.
And what about Biden? Did you see the clip, Pat, about Biden saying Republicans like Trump are the kind of guys that you want to smack in the ass? Do you want to talk about a gay comment? That's and then we could show the Doug Emhoff. You saw the Doug. This is Rob. I sent you the Biden one. I sent you Joe Biden. Look at this and look at how angry he gets. He's lost his mind. But this is him right here talking about the Republicans are the kind of you want to just smack. Look at his face too, Rob, when he says it. See.
But I'm serious.
I'm serious.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
What the hell is he talking? You want to talk about what kind of guy?
A part of me respected it because, that's maybe the way he talks to Jill. I just want to smack that ass tonight. If he talks like that, some woman like that. Vinny, why do you undermine his ability to be able to talk dirty to his wife? You want, by the way, you want your husband, you want your president and the first lady to talk dirty to each other or be happy in the bedroom. Well, it's less stress for you. So if he talks like that, visualize.
Yeah.
Jill, I'm coming over tonight. I'm going to smack that ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, I don't know. Look, can you play it again? Because I'm just close your eyes.
Look at his face.
I don't even want you to look. I just want you to hear it.
Okay.
Rob, play it again. Just visualize him talking dirty. Go ahead.
But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
See?
But I'm serious.
Okay.
Smack that ass tonight.
What's crazy is I don't know why they're still letting him out there on stage talking.
They don't give a shit at this point.
I'll tell you what's
talking dirty to his wife. Leave him alone.
By the way, quick numbers for you, Tom. His approval rating is 41%. It's the lowest for basically a sitting president who's basically running as an incumbent for Kamala Harris. 67% of Americans are basically now saying that they believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. So much so that Trump, they call it basically a retrospective approval rating of Trump. Trump now has a 48% approval rating, basically based on memory of his time as presidency. His highest rating as presidency was in the mid-40s. They're basically saying people are looking back at Trump being like, yeah, it actually wasn't so bad. Because they're looking at Biden. They're like, this is who we have to compare ourselves to, 41%. So Kamala's running on this record.
Did you hear? You saw what Doug Emhoff. You saw what Doug Emhoff said.
I'm guessing, guys. You guys can do whatever you want to do. I can see him coming home, song playing, be ready, and smack that on the floor. Smack that. Give me some more. Smack that till you get so sore. Smack that.
You know what?
Hang
on. We're 50 hours from an election.
Rob.
50 hours.
Tom,
Actually,
I want to smack that. And you want to get serious. This guy, play smack that one more time. Go ahead.
I'm serious.
I'm serious,
These
Tom.
are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
What does that
buddy
even
boy?
mean?
He wants to smack Tam on your ass.
There you
Take him
go.
outside the tool shed.
Oh my God.
We're 50
Someone's gotta
hours, but we're 50 hours from it. And I find it comical. Can you imagine if you're Vinny?
I'm sorry.
Just for a
Be
minute.
serious, Tom. Go ahead.
Just
Make
for a
your
minute.
point.
Channel a little bit and
Too
try
much
to
silliness.
think of what life for Kamala Harris's campaign manager. And it's that woman.
Are you
right?
being silly or are you
I
being
am being
serious right
serious.
now? Yeah, let's please
because
stay serious.
I searched for his campaign claims he misspoke, and the Google response was over 2,000 hits that there were for Tim Walz and his campaign claims he misspoke. So that's a pretty common thing with Tim Walz. And so they're like, okay, except in rare circumstances, Tim Walz can't speak. Then, sir, the president is going nuts. Okay, stop. Tell the White House, except in rare instances, the president can't speak. Okay, sir, we got the same with Mark Cuban and the women. Oh my gosh, campaign manager. Tell Cuban that except for rare, just tell Cuban he has to be 100% quiet. Everybody has to be quiet. Sir, what's up? Well, you're the campaign manager, and that means that all we have left is Kamala. Yeah, well, 2 months ago, we've been telling her to speak as little as possible. Yeah. So it's like nobody can speak. The whole campaign is surrounded by people who are out there like doing the opposite in the media. No wonder they've got celebrities out there saying, vote
Please
for Trump.
vote. With that
because
being
the
said,
regular campaign
let's
is
talk
cornered.
about another celebrity. Peanut the squirrel, beloved pet and internet sensation, euthanized after being seized by the New York State. Okay? Go ahead and play this clip, Rob. This is TMZ. They're being interviewed. Very weird what just happened here. Go ahead and play it, Rob.
We just learned that they have euthanized Peanut.
And the raccoon as well.
And the raccoon as well. I am so sorry. This must be really difficult for you.
It not only tears my family apart, but Peanut was the cornerstone of our nonprofit animal rescue. And 10 to 12 DEC officers raided my house as if I was a drug dealer. I was sat outside my house for 5 hours. I had to get a police escort to my bathroom. I wasn't even allowed to feed my rescue horses breakfast or lunch. I was sat there like a criminal. After they interrogated my wife to check out her immigration status, then proceeded to ask me if I had cameras in my house, then proceeded to go through every cabinet, nook, and cranny of my house for a squirrel and a raccoon.
They got a search warrant?
They got a search warrant. 4 departments and a judge signed off on a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. What? And then they took them and killed them.
Why did they go through all that to get a search warrant for an animal that had been with you very safely, and the world witnessed this for 7 years? Why now suddenly did they show up with a search warrant and take these animals?
We haven't a clue. We don't know who made the complaints. Again, Peanut was an indoor squirrel, not harming anybody. He's been with us for 7 years. Not a single complaint was ever filed for this animal. We had him for 7.5 years. He became the world's most famous squirrel. We weren't hiding him by any means. He was all over TikTok. He became the first squirrel on TikTok to ever hit 1 million followers. He did every news station around the world. He's helped people. He's helped kids gather joy. And then we started a nonprofit animal rescue called Peanut's Freedom Farm to help animals like Peanut fight a good fight when they're in a neglected case or they're sitting in a slaughter auction. and he was the cornerstone of our life and our organization. We used his platform to help raise money for the 300 animals we have at our sanctuary.
Tom.
Well,
by the way, just so you know, David Sachs retweeted this. Elon Musk has been talking about this. A bunch of people are talking about this. How do you process this story?
I find it unbelievable. This just shows you how clumsy and wrong government can be, and just how there's no logic. There is logic, but it's flawed logic. You read about this and they say, well, wait a minute. We needed to test that because we found out you had a squirrel living inside and we were worried about rabies. They said, well, the squirrel's been on, and if I was keeping a lot of wild animals, there is a concern about rabies and you got to test them. But because these are what's called not normally domesticated animals, really. Well, you can look at all the videos. The squirrel looked pretty happy, just hanging out at home, jumping around and they're running an animal rescue. And so they say somebody called, something happened from somewhere, and they said, we need to go seize these animals because we can't have these animals spreading rabies. So somebody thought it was about rabies. Read about the government. Somebody thought it was about rabies. Oh, and what if these animals bite somebody and then we've got multiple humans get rabies? So someone thought that was a problem. Someone gave an order to a judge. Some judge signed the order. It's like what it was, Pat, it was groupthink. It's not one person. It's four. It's four agencies. It shows how inefficient government is, right? You have a problem, one of your businesses, Pat, and it's in marketing. You go to the head of marketing at that business and you tell them to get their butt in order, right? Government didn't know who was in charge. Four agencies showed up. Four agencies from the city. So no one was in charge. No one was individually accountable, and it snowballed. And the government, this shows you this is how government works when government just gets it wrong. Yeah, and if they're worried about somebody biting somebody and giving them rabies, maybe they should send a few guys over to the White House to keep Biden from biting baby feet.
And by the way, great point, Tom. And how many agencies did this guy say that went there?
Four government agencies.
Four different government agencies. This happened in New York.
But what I want to know is why was it euthanized?
They just killed them both because
why though?
Apparently they said they had to do that to test it for the rabies.
Officials said that the squirrel bit one of the investigators involved in the confiscation, and both animals were later euthanized to test for rabies.
They killed them to test them.
They're saying that it bit one of the investigators?
That's a good way because I don't know, PBD, but it sounds to me like if you just say, oh, it bit me, that gives you carte blanche to kill it. Euthanize it means kill it. That's all. That's just a different way of saying it. And notice that this happened in New York, as if New York doesn't have enough crap happening from the illegals to the migrants to the crime rate to the city, just everything that's going.
It was pure multi-departmental groupthink, and they ended up. There's a psychological description for this, and it's called the trip to Abilene, where everybody ends up in Abilene, but nobody wanted to go there. And I think four government agencies confused each other and took a trip to Abilene.
Oh, do we know? Okay.
Elon's tweeted about this 20 plus times.
Who has?
Elon.
He's tweeted about it?
But bro, this guy's whole livelihood was this freaking squirrel. If you follow, I've seen this guy with the squirrel before, and it's like
he's running an animal rescue
thing.
Illegal one.
Illegal, and
with permits.
He's saving animals, and it's like, why is the government, what the hell are you doing in New York? Like, you guys don't have enough shit going on that you're going to go. By the way, I'm curious to see if this guy was a Trump guy. Was the owner a Trump guy, Robbie? Did this guy ever mention anything about Trump? Who ratted on him, no pun intended, who ratted on him to have them come there and do this to his property? I'm curious to see if this guy was a Trump supporter or wore anything Trump or supported Donald Trump. And apparently that's the girl.
J.D. Vance talked about Peanut. Rob, if you can find a clip about J.D. Vance and Peanut. He made some comments about it. They've raised already on the GoFundMe $140,000.
Good.
He vowed to take legal action in a social media post with the hashtag Justice for Peanut. Guy's name is this it, Rob? Go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead, Rob.
So I know Don's fired up about Peanut the squirrel. We were on the way down here from Cincinnati. He was like, is it really the case that the Democrats murdered the Elon Musk of squirrels? And I said, yeah, it sounds like, have you seen the videos of this squirrel? He's a genius. So I know.
Man.
Yeah. Trump was like, they're eating the dogs. They're euthanizing the squirrels.
Now you could say they're killing the squirrels.
If it happened in Ohio, I would say somebody was hungry.
There's Trump right there.
Oh, look at him. Look at that.
Listen.
That's enough to make someone cry at him. Thanks for doing that, Rob.
This one guy
feel horrible
said,
for them, but
in New York State, we have sanctuaries for illegal. In New York State, we have sanctuaries for illegal immigrants while innocent pets are killed.
Weird.
Special place. Mr. Longo said on Instagram that there was a special place in hell for the DEC. Wow. Well, let's see what happens with this. The question I asked is, where's PETA? That's what I asked, because PETA's always interested in things like, where are you, PETA? Has PETA sent it? Can you go on PETA to see if PETA's commented about the peanut? I want to know, because PETA claims they're all about animals, right?
I haven't heard a peep.
Well, let's see if PETA said anything about the squirrel. And when is I'm there on their account as well. 1 hour, go to something of arena. Nope, nothing about PETA. I see cows.
Steak.
I see memes. I see chickens.
Another meme.
I see a dog. I see protein shake. I see a dinosaur. I see another
animal
dog.
testing on a rabbit right there.
How come they haven't Why haven't you commented on PETA, on the peanut?
Yeah, PETA, where you at?
Why haven't you, PETA?
That's sad, dog.
Okay, by the way, if you're watching this, can you tweet at PETA? Everybody go to PETA and say, hey, PETA, how come you haven't commented on
peanut?
Peanut.
By the way, back up there, Rob. Back up right there at the horses. No horses deserves to die on a track. Help. And this guy was rescuing horses, and those are the ones he was trying to feed.
They let him
when he
feed
was
him for
waiting
5
outside.
hours. Yeah, for 5 hours he couldn't feed him.
So, PETA, where are you? You should line up with this guy.
PETA.
How famous was this squirrel? You got Elon tweeting about him. You got JD Vance on the campaign trail.
Bro.
Trump's making out with squirrels. How big of a deal is this squirrel? I've never heard of this guy.
He had 1 million TikTok followers, just a squirrel.
I mean, you know,
Adam,
million
that's a
TikTok.
lot. What do you mean that's a lot? Look at him, not one. All right, pigeons.
Well, I generally, what was so good about him? Has he ever seen any of his videos? You ever heard about this peanut before him? Peanut?
Well, first of all, just so you know, I'm on a flight one time.
Yeah.
This guy sitting next to me, and they said they had this animal that it wasn't a peanut. It was like a mouse that they had that had like 550,000 followers. I'm like, are you serious? And I go into their, I'm like, this is pretty serious. Yeah. I said, how do you guys make a living? He says, we make $150,000 a year. All they do is create content with this mouse all day. And I'm like, wow. He says, oh, you don't understand this, how famous animals are getting nowadays. There is a whole business model with these pets on what they do on. By the way, first of all, they're entertaining to watch. They're entertaining to watch. And then when somebody decides to take care of these guys, look, it's a part of it is.
I made a monkey video, PBD, that has 14 million views.
Vinny, you and me, business model. I'm going to put your ass on a leash right now. I'm going to walk you all over town. You're going to do little tricks.
Good.
You're going to jump on things. You're going to bite people.
That's a fetish. Yeah. That's not an animal thing.
What I was going to say.
Thanks,
No. Did you see that? Did you see that cat video a week ago where the guy gets pulled over in the car and he tells the cop he identifies as a cat?
Yes.
And the guy goes, he says, is this your partner? He says, I'm offended by that. I'm his owner.
His owner, yeah.
He said, well, guess what? Cats in this state are not allowed to drive, so I'm going to arrest you.
Yeah.
Are you joking or are you
I'm
serious?
not.
This is a video right here.
What is this?
I don't know how real it was, but it's a great interaction.
Is it fake?
It might be. I'll tell you right now.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Play the video here.
You currently have a California driver's license. You just don't have a physical copy on you at the moment. That's my preferred method of identification. And this is... It's a cat collar. I'm currently identifying as a cat. Fair enough. The information here on the tag, I'm assuming belongs to you. Yeah, that's so rude. I hope you know I'm recording.
Yeah, it's an act.
It wasn't my intention to offend you, but he just identified as a cat, and you're wearing a Harris Walz t-shirt,
Okay,
so...
go back. Let's go back. All right. So, anyways, Tom, you stop watching these fake videos. But so let's go to this next story.
Here, what did David Sachs say?
Peanut did nothing but bring joy to his owners and millions of fans on social media. The fact that an entire bureaucracy, some of the government. By the way, go down. I think I commented on this.
Bureaucrats.
And if you
barbarians and bureaucrats.
Look at that little guy.
Squirrels to the establishment.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm just asking the question: where is PETA? Okay, that's all I care about. Question. Okay,
very valid.
Where is PETA?
Can I just ask? Why do you think they haven't commented on this, PBD? Because they're so active, they're so vocal, they're basically, they're everywhere, and they have nothing to say on the most famous squirrel story in the world.
Because Kamala's taking heat, and somebody said, "Sit this one out."
Yep.
Listen, we all know.
I don't know. Let's go to the next story.
This is ridiculous.
We got 9 more minutes to do a couple more stories before you're not, and we can get to the podcast for tomorrow.
Let's do it.
So why record numbers of wealthy Americans are seeking to flee the country. Okay. All right, let's see how many of these wealthy people are leaving and where they're going. A record number of ultra-wealthy Americans are seeking to leave the U.S. to mounting fears of political upheaval and economic instability, according to Dominic Volek of Henley and Partners. He reports that Americans now make up 20% of their client base, with demand up to 30% over the past year, and inquiries for second passport or residence increasing 504% in the last 4 years. Damn. Many high net worth Americans are choosing more welcoming countries like Portugal, Greece, and Italy, citing lower taxes, civil unrest, and political polarization as reasons. David Lesperance, an international tax and immigration advisor, said that clients now view U.S. citizenship as a personal and financial risk, seeking a plan B abroad as a safeguard. Political concerns are driving the trend, with some clients specifically seeking to avoid MAGA America or tax proposals like Kamala Harris's plan to tax unrealized capital gains over $100 million. I can see that. But to go to Portugal, Greece, and Italy, Tom, where are you at with this story?
This story is real. And super wealthy people have been able to purchase second passports for a couple decades. There are countries out there that will allow you to buy a passport in their country for a nominal fee. And now you've got dual citizenship. Then there are countries that are very favorable for Americans, like specifically Costa Rica, that are not far from the U.S. and give you a lot of benefits of, lifestyle and everything that you would want, and it's not too far from here. And so this is real. People have been leaving the United States. Now, this is different from renouncing citizenship. Renouncing citizenship is something completely different. But these are people who believe, you know what? I'm going to go for dual citizenship, or I'm going to go to Portugal, or I'm going to go to Costa Rica. I like it there better. The political climate's better. So I'm going to go do this. But depending on when and where they pull their money out, they could have, annual taxes that follow them around for a little while. But ultra wealthy have been doing this for a while. It's just look at the percent increase recently, because they're getting more and more upset. 504% increase in the last 4 years. To me, that's what's shocking. That is what's shocking. Look how far these people, and by the way, it's in the last 4 years. That's the Biden administration. Mm-hmm. And so what are they looking at? They're looking at tax. They're looking at the unrealized gains. They're looking at big wealth. And so they've been able to do things like this. Like there's people that have Canadian and U.S. citizenship. They have to reconcile taxes based on where they earn it. But what I think, this is getting tougher because, you know what? The future looks bright here in the United States because we know what we're capable of and we know what we can put together. But there's a lot of people, Pat, that are just looking at it on the surface and they're not willing to dive in.
Can I give you my thoughts on this? Let me tell you where I'm at with this, Tom. And it's just openly talking about it. So if I was somebody who was making money and didn't realize, like, this is what COVID taught a lot of states and a lot of companies that realize all these smart people that went to Harvard and all these fancy universities thinking they're smarter than everybody else. Remember when they said some ideas will really destroy you long-term. You don't even know about it. Ready? And by the way, sometimes we do it as parents, okay? And they said, hey, moving forward with our company, you can work from anywhere you want. We just made an announcement. Twitter employees can work from home for the rest of their lives. Seriously? Yeah, you don't ever have to come to office. Freaking awesome. And you're still going to pay me the same salary that you're paying me in San Francisco? Yeah, no one brought it up, so don't bring it up. Dude, I'm freaking moving to Nevada. No, but wait, you just told me I can work from home, right? Yes, of course. We're a noble company. New York, you can work from home. I'm moving to Florida. Weather's better and no state taxes? Yeah, I'm moving to Florida. And you still have to pay me the same thing that you were paying me for New York? Yes. Oh, shit. Guess what? What? We just lost $1 trillion of wealth under management in New York and California. They left us. What a shitty idea. We thought we were being noble. No, you weren't. You were being a fool. Yep. Okay? All right, so check this out. with the way people are making money right now online, why do people have to stay in America? They don't. You don't have to be in America. Where does Jake Paul live? Puerto Rico. Where does Peter Schiff live? Puerto Rico. Where does Logan Paul live? Puerto Rico. How many people have moved to Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico has the 420 rule, right? 4% taxes you pay for the next 20 years. That's it. That's all you pay, Vinny. Wow. 4%, not state. You make $1 million, you pay $960 in taxes. $960 you keep. You pay $40,000 in taxes. Wow. You make $100,000 you're in Puerto Rico, you're paying $4,000 in taxes. You can correct me, Tom.
Nope. All you have to do is open a small business and employ just a couple people, and it doesn't take much. You could open 2 little dry cleaners, and you qualify.
Boom. That's it. 4% corporate tax, 100% exemption on dividends, and 90% exemption on property tax. That's a 420 rule. The Act 20, 420 rule, right? So, okay, so then why do I have to be in Puerto Rico? Well, what if I go to Costa Rica? What if I go to Belize? What if I go to these other places? America better be careful because there's a lot of ways to make money without having to stay here. And all of a sudden, people are going to move. That's the part where you become so arrogant and you think no one will ever leave you. You know who goes through this? Arrogant entrepreneurs like BlackBerry, thinking they were never going to lose to a stupid smartphone. You got destroyed. You got destroyed. Hey, you know, all these other companies, newspaper, no one's ever going to leave us. You got destroyed by the internet and email. No one's going to leave us. States got destroyed. Same thing can happen here with wealthy people leaving. A 504% increase in passports that people are asking. That is a real number. Adam, thoughts on this?
Look, this bothers me to my core. I don't know why. It's just because there's 2 types of people that I think we're talking about right there, and the article even highlights it. How many people in 2016 when Trump got elected were like, I'm going to Canada if you want. They're all still here.
The majority of them.
You're still here.
Share.
You're not going anywhere. You haven't gone anywhere. Yep. You know, then you were talking about the other people who are basically the wealthier folks. I don't know what they're qualifying as high net worth. What is it, 10 million, 20 million above, whatever the number is. In this article, they basically used unrealized capital gains over $100 million. How many people qualify for this? So we're talking about a very small sliver segment of society. And it's no secret. You can go down to a lot of the Caribbean islands, St. Kitts, Antigua, Barbados, Bermuda, whatever it is, Dominican, you know, for a couple $100,000, you basically buy citizenship, or even in some other countries, I think Turkey and Jordan, it's like $500,000 investment. But this is how you view America. You make all your money in America. You're an American citizen. You have the benefit of living in the greatest country in the history of the world, and then you're out. I don't know. It just bothers me incredibly. And you know how many people I know from Miami that have moved to Puerto Rico? Dozens. And you know what I hear? Dude, I got to get out of here, bro. It's just not worth it to save all this money. And I just live in Puerto Rico. And I'm not calling Puerto Rico floating anything in the peace of the sea, nothing like that. But when you live in America, there's things that you don't realize how amazing it is. The luxury of electricity working, or having hot air or cold air conditioning, or plumbing that works, or basically sewage or draining. So many different things that you benefit from living in America. And if you want to just basically kiss America goodbye and move to some other part of the world, God bless you. But I think it's the people that actually want to stay in America and improve America are the people that are going to actually make America, dare I say it, great again.
But the part you have to realize, it's the part you have to realize, none of us are from America. Some are born here, but everybody ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they here? Why? Why are you living in America? Why did your parents come here? They left something. What did they leave? What did they leave? And do you think at one point you can really mistreat somebody so much that you think nobody will leave you? Like divorce. Does divorce ever make sense? Does divorce ever make sense?
Yeah,
is there ever a time where divorce is the right thing? Tom, what do you think?
I think that I'm personally against divorce, but there are some situations where divorce, is necessary, like the safety of somebody. You just can't let it go on.
How about mistreatment? How about physical abuse? How about adultery? How about all these things?
That's what I'm talking about. The safety of somebody is pretty big. And so you can't say, you can say, look, we like you to stay together. We don't like divorce. We're thinking about it for your kids. But if somebody's in danger of safety, you got to protect them.
One may say America's been cheating on its taxpayers. One may say America's been abusive to its citizens. One may say the U.S. government, with the way they're taxing our money and giving it to frickin' Zelensky, Ukraine, you're cheating on us. One may say, you want me to pay taxes and have to do audits every single year, yet Pentagon's missing $35 trillion and has not passed an accounting, audit the last 4 years, and you're okay? Well, I'm supposed to sit here and be audited for $600, and you're missing $35 trillion, and you don't get audited?
$35 trillion?
Pull it up.
Pentagon?
Type in
trillion.
Type up Pentagon, $35 trillion.
How's that even a thing?
What do you mean? That every week they were
right
coming
there.
out.
Pentagon's $35 trillion accounting black hole.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I mean,
you've never heard this before?
Look, once you said 35 trillion, honestly, I thought you made a mistake. I thought you meant 35 billion.
It's 35 trillion.
What does that even mean?
Go back to a different story. So maybe you can see 35 trillion and see who else reported on it. Bloomberg. Pentagon racks up $35 trillion in accounting adjustments and changes. What?
Adjustments.
What are you talking about?
That's the size of our entire national debt.
By the way, the Peterson G Foundation, click on that. No, that's a different one. When you sit there and you think about...
What does that even mean?
But the point I'm trying to make to you is that if America thinks that they can constantly do this to the average person is sick of it. That's all I'm saying to you. The average person is going to sit there and say, bro, yes, I would consider another country, and I don't blame them. Some people have a hard time moving states. You're talking about these guys that are saying I'm moving countries. Can't argue it. By the way, anyways, gang, again, for those of you, I'm looking at all the veterans that are placing all these orders, and those of you guys that are supporting others, good for you. Supply is going to be limited. If you haven't gone to VT Merch and done what you've done, do so. For some of you guys that do support veterans, we love you. We respect you. We want to make sure you're supporting this as well. For those of you guys that are coming with us tomorrow night, just make sure to follow the email that was sent your way. The details, whether you're general, whether you're, by the way, rain or shine, we're going to have an incredible show tomorrow. We got tents. Some of you guys are coming with ponchos, with locals are coming with umbrellas. But come ready to meet a ton of different people and have a lot of fun. And we're going to have food trucks there that you can order food. There's going to be the bathrooms with ACs that you'll be able to go out. You know, the porta potters, they go to baseball game that smell. This is like the AC high-end VIP type of bathrooms we have there. My son may be selling merch tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Dylan's working. And by the way, he's going to come and he's got a number. We're going to see how he's going to work. He interviewed today to see what he's going to do.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He wants
I love him.
He wants to sell.
By the way, I love how PBD was like, we're going to have the best porta potties. You're going to have AC in the porta potties.
I mean,
you know why I say that?
Smelling good.
Do you know how I am? By the way, you know my kids, my boys. Do you know how many times they pooped in the bathroom in the school?
What?
Never.
Not one time. Dylan's never pooped in school.
Wow.
That's not how we know. It's not. It's
gross. It's nasty. Have you been in the school bathroom?
You have to. You know, it's not even that. It's the cleaning. It's the we clean. I specifically said we need the nice, clean bathrooms because we want to give our. By the way, this event's turned out from a small little event to $1 million budget. You guys see what's going on in there when you walk through it.
Yep.
So when you walk in, people will see it on what happened. We're even choking right now on this. Yeah. You're not paying for it.
Golden toilets.
I can't believe it.
Anyways, all right, gang. We will see you guys tomorrow. Everybody else, if you're not going to be with us physically, we look forward to having you.
Vote.
We'll be live from 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. If you still haven't made up your mind on voting, go watch the video today, 25 Reasons Why Trump will win the election, barring a black swan, if you haven't seen it. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.